Just got lucky.
Hello.
Hello. Say hello again.
Hello.
Okay, good. I can hear you.
Great.
All right, should we just get it right out of the gate? Not even small time chit chat?
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to the Nut Farm Podcast. I'm Gretchen,
I'm Missy.
and we will be your hosts for the day or for the duration. We got to talking a little bit about, we kind of just jumped into episodes without giving you guys any real background on, we gave you a little background on who we are, but more like why the nut farm? Like why do we call it? Oh my God, I'm so uncomfortable in my head right now.
Bye.
My
Take the
glasses,
choker off.
it's not the choker right
Then
now.
what
It's
is
my
it?
glasses and my beanie and the headphones. I just need to take a breath. Just give me one moment to just take a quick breath. Maybe it's all caused by the choker.
Okay, just breathe and I'll take over for a second. I just realized I don't really remember the story.
Okay, how we got the nut farm. So whenever my kids, thank you for that breath. That really did help.
Yeah, no problem.
So whenever my kids are being ornery or buttholes, I threaten them that I'm going to have to go to the nut farm. I'm going to have to go to the psych ward and I'm going to have to be in a straitjacket because they make me so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I always talk too with my clients on saying no more cuckoo, no more cuckoo. We are going to live our lives happy, joyous, free, and take out the struggle and take out the cuckoo, and that stuff no longer serves us. So initially the podcast was going to be named No More Cuckoo.
Mm-hmm.
And then I put out a G7 Chronicles.
Yeah.
And I'll let you take it away from here.
So she put out a G7 Chronicles. And at some point, I don't know if you wrapped it with this
I said I
saying.
don't want to go to the nut farm.
Yeah, something about not going to the nut farm. And I just like hyper fixated on nut farm and just kept repeating it in my brain, like the nut farm, the nut farm, the nut farm. And I'm like, why is this happening? I was like, hey, maybe that should be the name of the pod, the nut farm. Because any day of the week I could be shipped off.
Same.
Loaded up into a paddy wagon
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, like they used to do in the olden days. Remember when you like had really bad PMS and they would ship you off and give you a lobotomy?
No.
Yeah, that's like what they would do. They're like, oh, she's hysterical.
Okay, she was like when you're grumpy.
You're like, oh yeah, she needs a procedure. They would ship them off.
What's a lobotomy?
It's where they take a metal rod, they stick it up your nose, and then they hammer it into your frontal lobe. And it basically renders you like a emotionless little potato of a human. And that's how they would treat women that were too unruly. Men too. They did it to everybody. It was like it was a cheap and effective procedure to make somebody comply. And so there were tons of lobotomy. I wonder when the last lobotomy was performed. I feel like it's not that long ago.
Well, and it can't be like the patient didn't get to agree to it. That was like it was forced upon them, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah.
Ugh. Yikes.
That was back in the day where they'd be like, oh no, she's all 6s and 7s. We got to take care of that. Dunk, dunk. And then they just sit slumped in a chair. Like that was.
Oh my.
Yeah.
That should not have been legal.
Well,
You know, and I don't really feel bad saying the nut farm thing because I've been in a nut farm. Do you
So
realize I
true.
have been to 2 psych wards?
Yes.
We can share all about the psych wards in another podcast.
Then I'm piggybacking off of that. So by proxy, I have
Exactly.
too. So I can talk about it.
You being my best friend gives you all of my superpowers and vice versa.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
Yeah.
So there's where the nut farm came about. And Missy was so sweet when she text messaged me. She said, how married to No More Cuckoo are you? And I was like, well, I don't know. I like it, but
You're like, not now.
but what you got? And she wrote it to me. I'm like, done. You just turned your mic off. There we go.
Sorry.
I'm so happy we have these headphones that tell us when things go awry. Do you feel like you're frozen? You can't move? This is so
I've
funny.
been lobotomized.
Okay, so we get to talk about sensual somatic yoga and what came out of it, the goods, the bads, the uglies. My expectation going in, and we kind of touched on this, do my glasses look crooked? Is it like my head? Don't they look crooked?
No.
Oh my God. Maybe I need a lobotomy today.
I think there's a shadow being cast on that side, and it might be doing something weird optically for you.
All right, I'm just not gonna look at myself
I
on
wouldn't
the.
let you just like sit there like Mr. Magoo while like, fuck.
Oh my God. Okay, so sensual somatic. My expectations going into sensual somatic was that I was gonna really be feeling myself. I was gonna really be able to touch, get not touch. Ew. Oh, get in touch with my femininity and my sexy side. And that was not what happened at all. Like, not by any stretch. What were your expectations?
Ugh. I thought there'd be some like grinding
Mhm.
movements, which there were.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it would be like some cool like moody music and just like yeah,
Music.
yeah, and there was. It was like pretty much what I thought it was gonna be, and I really liked it. It was cool. Pushed me out of my comfort zone, you know, like when she's like, okay, now do this movement and circle it out. I was like, I don't know if I want to. But then I did it and I was like, okay, okay. And no one's really watching you. Like it's a dark room. Everybody's doing their own thing. And
Mm-hmm.
it helped me to just close my eyes
Yeah,
and just focus on like what I was hearing and like what does this feel like and
totally.
all that. And so yeah, it was cool. I had fun.
Yeah, I had fun too.
Until you didn't.
Until until
You didn't.
so we can we'll fast forward to then rewind. So session's over. Missy's out doing whatever she's doing, getting on her phone,
Know what I was doing.
gathering her
Probably looking for
belongings.
snacks or something.
Oh, you need a snack?
A little snack.
I'm
My
starving.
stomach was rumbling.
So she comes back to me, who I was talking with Kelsey and like processing with Kelsey, and she sees that I'm crying. And she's like, "Oh my God, I had no idea that you were crying. I heard you have sniffles."
I was like, I heard her doing a little sniffle, but I thought maybe some allergies were rearing up.
Yeah. But no, I was too ball packing it. I was upset and I was crying. And so now we'll go back a little bit more. I'm frustrated throughout this whole session because I want the whys. Why am I not comfortable in my own femininity? Why am I comfortable in my masculine and uncomfortable in my feminine? And I'm even as I'm talking about it now, I'm frustrated with myself again because I'm really not that uncomfortable in my femininity. Like, I just have this vision of what a woman should be,
Mm-hmm.
which is really fucked up,
Mm.
right? I think
Mhm.
this woman should be, and or maybe even like what I want to be,
Mm-hmm.
but I digress. So I'm frustrated that I'm not having these epiphanies and these whys. I'm upset because my hips won't move the way that I want them to. I'm watching Kelsey, who's like banging. And
Yeah.
granted, like she's practiced this for a very, very long time, and now she teaches it and she facilitates it. So I get, but she's so hot.
She's like a woodland like nymph goddess who's just completely in touch with
Totally.
mother everything and is
Yes.
like the feminine embodiment of all of that. I was in awe of her and
Yeah.
I was like, you're incredible.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. So I kept
Voice
trying.
of an angel, by the way.
Voice of an angel. I can't wait for her to hear this because that would make her so happy to
I
hear.
loved her singing parts.
Okay, so hips aren't moving where they want to be. I finally just cut myself a little slack, just go with it. I'm feeling super uncomfortable because there's a dancing portion and I'm super uncomfortable dancing.
Yeah.
But I keep going because I'm like, if I want to be my highest, most powerful self, I have to walk through things that make me uncomfortable and get comfortable with them. So I just went through and did it. So then we get to this point where we're on our back and we're just moving our knees side to side, just a teensy bit, not going into a full twist or anything.
Little gentle windshield wiper.
Yes, little windshield
Yep.
wipers. And at that point in time, my hips and my quads and like my low back just start like rumbling and shaking. And that's where I just start bawling.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been in this world, in this realm for long enough that I'm like, I'm not going to fight the tears. I'm just going to let them go. There's all these beautiful women who maybe are having the same experience as I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that the shaking is me releasing stuff that doesn't serve me and trauma and drama and all of that stuff. So I roll with it. And then of course Kels comes over because I'm sure she sees the shaking happening. And just in her very motherly way, just eases more shake. She facilitates how she was supposed to facilitate. So, she facilitated in a very divine way
Mhm.
to get to like comfort me and let me release whatever I needed to release.
Yeah.
So, um, so afterwards we're processing and I'm like, why can't I wanted to know the whys and I'm not getting the whys. And she's like, that's your masculine brain. She's like, your masculine brain wants to know the whys. So then I'm like, oh, heavens, Betsy, I come in here, I try to get in my femininity and my masculine brain
It's
is
like, won't shut up.
won't stop. And I can see why. So then fast forward, I'm doing a walk in the morning, getting all this clarity. And I know why I'm uncomfortable in my masculine, and I know why I'm comfortable or
Vice versa.
strike that, reverse. Emotions were never something that were like, I was told, yeah, go ahead, express whatever feelings you need. It was like, if I was sad, it was like, I needed to jump right to gratitude. There's nothing to be sad about. You're a happy little girl, like da 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 da. And then vice versa, the feminine side,
Mhm.
it wasn't okay for me to have gentle, um, emotions,
Mhm.
nurturing emotions, to put it in a nutshell. That masculine, feminine, all that stuff runs a little bit deeper too, and we can go into that on another pod, but we don't need to today. So I didn't need the whys. Like I already freaking knew why.
Yeah.
What I needed was just to have my physical body release it.
Yeah.
And I got that.
Mm-hmm.
So what I hope for in the next sensual somatic practice that we go to, because I think I do want to do another one. I almost even want to do a private one with Kelsey. I'm hoping next time like my hips will start opening up and I will start be able to like feel that femininity a little bit more and
Yeah.
less have it be a trauma releasing session the whole time.
Well, if you're not thinking about seeking answers, then you can just kind of slip into whatever you're supposed to slip into
Mm-hmm.
and just ride the wave,
Yeah.
you know? Maybe that's why I had such a different, I wasn't seeking anything. I was just like, let's just jump in.
And that's how you should go into those things. You can set like an intention, but you should, in my head, they're the most powerful when you have no expectations.
Yeah.
Like I jacked myself by having the expectation.
Well, because you know that it's a sticking point for you. Like we've talked
Mhm.
about it a bunch. Like,
Mhm.
why do I do this? Why am I like this?
Why do I always look like this and
Why
dress
do I
like this and talk like this?
Yeah. So,
You
but I
want
think
to,
it's good though. Like,
yeah.
I'm glad. I'm sorry I was so just like,
I'm happy that you were happy. Feeling it.
just, what's the word? My God. I have sundowners, PS. What's the word?
What is
Oblivious.
oblivious?
Oblivious.
What is sundowners?
So when sometimes when people get old and they have like
I feel like I've
dementia,
asked you this before.
it's you might have a touch of the
I
sundowners
wouldn't
yourself.
doubt it.
So it's like a term that refers to when people throughout the day, like it's common for once the sun goes down or like after dinner or whatever, your cognitive stuff just kind of starts to go.
Mm.
So certain people can be fine throughout the day, and then they got that sundowners, and it's like rears its ugly head. We're not remembering what my name is, certain
Oh,
words, things. Yeah, I mean I overuse it because I think it's funny, but
so funny.
yeah, that's what that is pretty much.
Gotcha. So today, I thought this would make you laugh a little bit. And I'm in the business to make you laugh and other people laugh. So I go on my walk again this morning and I put on my new favorite song is Dance With Me by what is it, Tony? Tony and I? Tony. It doesn't matter. It's
Mhm.
fine.
Dance with me.
Dance With Me. Look it up. It's a great jam. And nobody's really on my walk, but there's people around-ish. And I was like, I'm going to push myself out of my comfort zone right now and I'm going to dance as I walk.
No, you didn't.
And I got my 5-pound ankle weights on and it was
Of
difficult.
course, always with the ankle weights. So cute. It's like my favorite thing you do. One of them is hilarious. Okay, continue.
They're the best. I want to get a weighted vest as well.
Oh God, love it.
Um, So I do a couple moves in a row and I just start grinning from ear to ear. It makes me, and I'm like, anything that can just make me smile that big by just being a knucklehead and like
Yeah.
being free
Yeah.
is so worth it. So I did a couple more and at the very end, I'm like, I'm gonna do a spin. And I'm all, mind you, I'm all by myself. There's nobody around except maybe some ranchers who think I'm a nut
Yeah.
job.
Yeah. Lobotomy over there.
And
Someone come get her.
so she's dancing like a stripper. But I was so happy to do my a couple little dance moves and
Yeah.
I did a spin
Mhm.
and I just smiled all the way home. Like, and I just kept thinking, if anything can make me smile this big for whatever reason, like I'm in and I'm
Yeah.
just gonna keep,
Keep
I'm
dancing.
gonna keep plugging away at it.
That's huge. I love that.
Maybe I'll get it on camera one of these days. Once I get a couple like good dance moves strung together.
We could like film a TikTok together.
Yeah.
A TikTok dance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you know when TikTok came out and everybody was dancing, I'm like, I really want to be on that platform, but I can't do it because I'm not dancing like
Like,
that. I'm
Not
out.
for me.
I'm out.
Not for me.
But I love TikTok.
I don't have TikTok.
You don't.
Such a boomer.
I love how you're very okay. So this is one thing about Missy. She's very strict on her social media. She has Instagram and only Instagram. Sometimes she dabbles in Facebook, but not very
Only if Adam sends me a link to something on
Mhm.
Facebook Marketplace.
Like she restricts herself very well with the social media. Me, on the other hand, I'm all over the place. I'm on every platform and I
Well,
love
but then you send me the good stuff, and then like eventually it trickles down from TikTok and it makes its way to us boomers on
it. Yeah.
I'm not a boomer, us millennials on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then I eventually see it.
Yeah.
So
I got you.
it's whatever.
I got you. But I am trying to, and starting today, this is a thing today because I was on it way too much last night.
How
I'm
late were
going,
you on it? How late?
well, I went to bed at like 10:30.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, but I'm up. I was on it from like 8:30 maybe to when I took a shower at 10.
Oh.
That's it. I mean, there's just no reason for it. It's no purpose on it.
Hmm.
So I'm going to tell myself starting today that I'm not going to do social media at nighttime. Ooh, which may dampen you getting all of these things that I send you throughout the night. But
Yeah, that's gonna really cut into my meme archive and inventory. Maybe
Yeah.
we should discuss this offline because I feel like it affects me quite a bit.
okay, we can
Just
just
kidding.
we can discuss it. Well, that kind of segues us right into what grinds my gears.
Really grinds my gears.
You've got a good one, so you take it away.
Okay, this
Ooh, the
one,
heat just
yeah, it's hot up in here
sweat.
in a bad way. So, is this the sheet? Should I talk about the sheets?
Yeah.
I've never heard anybody else talk about this, and it's something that I experience on the weekly, and I don't quite understand this phenomena. And I want to know.
Phenomena.
Sound off in the comments
Phenomena.
if this happens to you guys too, or maybe it's just me.
Keep going. I gotta open this up because it's so fucking hot. Keep
I
going.
change the sheets once a week at my house. I usually do it on, I don't know, Sundays, I think. And so I got my sheets, Eli, Peyton, all the blankets, all the things. It's a whole deal. Every time I get a load going out of the dryer, go open the dryer. I got all the sheets. I'm going to fold them. Every time, somehow, into the corner of the fitted sheet has maneuvered at least one, sometimes two, three pillowcases sopping wet. Okay. Like these are sopping wet and then they're twisted into a nice little bundle, a ball sack, if you will. And I pull it out and there it is dangling, the wet pillowcase ball sack.
Yep.
I've tried separating everything very deliberately before I put it into the dryer. It doesn't help. Every time it's finding its way to the corner and twisting itself up into a little wet sack.
A little wet. The wetness, I think, is what bothers me the most on that.
Does this happen to other people?
Oh yeah. It has to. It happens to everybody. Fitted sheets are like the bane of people's existence. You can't live with them and you can't live without them. Folding them is a whole other thing that grinds your gears. Sometimes when
Yeah.
Steve and I are doing laundry, I'll play little jokes on him and I'll hand him the fitted sheets. And I'm like, baby, will you fold this one? And and then we'll get a little chuckle out of it because he
Doesn't.
can't fathom folding the fitted sheets.
I've witnessed it be done effectively. It's something to behold. I'm
Right.
not interested though, because it involves you lying on the floor. It involves you.
What?
Oh yeah.
Like you get in it? Like you
Well,
get in the
kind
mat?
of. You have to like lay it a certain way, and then you have to like push through the corners with your hands, and then you have to do, and it takes too long. I'm not doing that. Like
Oh, yeah.
I'm folding it in half as best I can.
Mhm.
I'm rolling it into a ball, and I'm tucking it just so that it looks somewhat deliberate.
Yeah.
And then I'm covering it with a flat sheet.
Right. Right.
Like, out of sight, out of mind.
Yep. Yep. Well, I've always like stripped the bed, washed them, and then put the sheets right back on. So I've never really had
Mm.
to fold the fitted sheet.
Okay.
But Steve is like, why don't we just have two sets
Two
of
sets,
sheets?
so you can.
And I'm like, I get it. I feel that. However, if I'm stripping the sheet and washing it, I'm not going to right afterwards go and make the bed. I'll just wait for them to be washed and then they smell good and then they're warm a little bit, except for the wet pillowcases.
Except for the wet, wrinkled up pillowcases. And so you're on this timeline, and it's like, no, actually, you're gonna need to separate this and re-dry everything.
You got to redry,
So
and then it just stops the whole process of laundering.
the fitted sheet is this like naughty little like gremlin that's like,
Yeah,
am I gonna just dry today? Or am I gonna make a little ball sack in the corner?
ball sack.
I don't know. Every time, ball sack.
Ball sack. Okay, here's my grind my gears.
Yeah.
And how do we say it again?
It grinds my gears.
I grind my gears. Missy and I both enjoy golfing and we enjoy the long ball. We enjoy hitting it off the tee, driving range golf, if you will.
Yeah.
And the short game is not our favorite. So heaven forbid the ball goes in a sand trap. Just getting the ball out of the sand trap grinds my gears because there's sand in my shoes. You have to you either hit it too softly and it just rolls up the side of the edge and comes back down and you get frustrated, or you really get a good whack on it and it flies far over the green and probably into another sand trap.
All while dusting you.
Exactly.
Dusting with a little cloud of dust.
Mm-hmm. Here's the kicker though. This is the one that really grinds my gears. Then you have to rake, right?
Yeah.
Then you have to get your feet marks out of the sand trap.
Well, then you're a landscaper in the middle of your game.
Yeah. Yep. And then you'd look around and everybody else's footprints are still in the sand trap, yet nobody else is there. So nobody else rakes their feet marks. I don't want people to think that I'm just the one tromping around in the sand without cleaning up my own sand.
Sure.
So then I spend another 5 minutes cleaning up everybody else's mess.
Then you're a maid. So not only are you expected to be an ace golfer, you have to suddenly become a landscaper and a maid in the middle of your game and keep your focus. I don't think so.
So that grinds my gears.
That's why I just go to the driving range.
Yeah, that's where I think I'll stay.
It's like all the glory, none of the responsibility, you know?
Agreed.
None of that short game, none of that whatever with the rake and all that. No, I just like rip it on to the next.
Yeah. We need to do a video of us at the driving range.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
We should do Top Golf.
Yeah. What I'm throwing you for a wrench on this one because we didn't talk about this before we started it, but I think
Oh,
it pairs
yay.
nicely with sensual somaticness.
Oh, give it to me.
What do you think about vulnerability?
Don't like that.
I know you
Wait,
don't.
in what way?
So, sharing if something bothers you, sharing your feelings.
1 out of 10, don't recommend. Next question. Just kidding.
Do you want to be more vulnerable?
No.
No.
Should I?
Yes.
Oh.
Vulnerability is like one of the most powerful things that you can do because it makes you impenetrable. It makes so like nothing can, basically it's like, and I know that would be a work in progress because I'm going to say it and you're going to cringe and you're going to go into your turtle shell and I know you. But like the idea that everybody knows all of your skeletons is absolutely super, super vulnerable, but also like, now what, yo? Like what you got now? You want to come at me now again? You want to come at me now?
Yeah.
So, and Brene Brown does this really great video on the power of vulnerability and what it does as far as like the exchange of energy continuing on. Like if I'm vulnerable with you, then that gives you permission to be vulnerable with me. And then all of a sudden we have this like easy breezy, beautiful flow of goodness going between us instead of like It's those are it's like beautiful flowing babbling brook verse.
Yeah, I hear you.
You feel that?
Yep.
I think that even since I've known you, you've gotten way more vulnerable with me.
Yeah, probably.
I like do this with you.
It takes me a while.
Yeah.
I would rather just make a joke and move on.
Yeah.
It's an uncomfy space for me, but yeah, I would say that.
Yeah.
You know?
But you can see how the joke is a coping mechanism.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Should
I
we just
can
leave
see
it at
that.
that? Or shall we digress more?
Why do you think that I do that?
Because it was never okay for you to be open and vulnerable.
Hmm.
It was never a safe space for you to do that.
That's interesting.
It was never, and also it's not modeled. If the people that are our highest, like the people who are responsible for us when we're tiny little nuggets aren't modeling that, how the heck are we supposed to know? It's like somebody expecting you to know math, but you not being taught numbers.
So true.
So I've made it my personal mission on this planet to help, just help people see the power of it, but also like we didn't get to these coping mechanisms and defense mechanisms in the way we are on our own. Like we got here because of a series of events. And this even falls right into addiction too. Like I didn't shoot out of the fucking womb wanting to be like a raging alcoholic and disrupt and like cause chaos in my beautiful family.
Yeah.
Series of events happened. I developed coping mechanisms. I had things that worked. I loved to have fun. I loved to booze. And that paired with genetics and trauma, if you
Yeah.
will, led to
Yeah.
all this.
Yeah.
But
Takes a village.
takes a village. It does. It does. So the power of vulnerability, something to definitely look into. Even just if we, okay, here's our, let's just do it like a starter. Let's just do, okay, if I was thinking about wanting to be more vulnerable today, what would I do? Close your eyes.
Like right now.
Close it. You
Okay.
can, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now
For
inhale.
the listeners, they're closed.
Now inhale. And exhale.
Yeah.
And tell yourself in your head, I'm okay. I'm good. I'm divinely made. All is well. Now you can open it. Look at you go, boo. Look how vulnerable
Yeah.
you are. That was huge. That was a big deal. I know,
I was
but
vulnerable just then.
yeah. And your little shoulders are cuddling around your heart, and that's a body mechanism as well to protect your heart. So we just start opening up our body, our eyes, saying how we feel. We don't even have to say how we feel to other people because that's super, super vulnerable. You can just ask yourself how you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The dancing in the dirt road,
Yeah.
very vulnerable for me. But it turned out that it put a big old grin on my face.
Yeah. And that's funny because that's like the opposite of vulnerable for me.
Right.
We were talking about when we pull up next to somebody at a stoplight or whatever, and we're like singing or dancing to our music. She's like, what do you do? Do you stop or do you continue? I was like, I continue. She's like, really? I'm like, yeah, I don't give a rip.
Mm-hmm.
I just like to bust it out. That for me is a space where I feel safe and fine.
Yeah. Free bird.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just funny, like how different things are provide different feelings to people.
Oh, it is. It's so funny.
Yeah.
It's so funny. And when I pull up to a red light and I'm jamming out and somebody comes up right next to me, now it's different because I've been called out on it
Yeah.
by my sweet little Annie. But I would halt and I would even probably turn down the music a little bit, roll up the music, roll up the windows if they were down. And then when I would keep going, then I would roll them back down, turn up the music and start.
You'd resume. It's interesting.
And that's jacked up. That doesn't make me a free bird.
No.
That gives all my power to the stranger who doesn't even give a rip that I'm freaking dancing and singing in my car. He'd probably look over and be like, oh man, she's so cool.
Or be like, oh, good for her.
Yeah, exactly.
Or be like, she's a weirdo. In that case, who cares?
I love when people call me weird. It's like the biggest compliment ever. I'm like, thank you. Thank you so much for that. They're like, wow, you're different. I'm like, thank you. Thank you so much. I take zero offense to that. And if that's what you were going for, you failed and I win. And I win at everything. That
the masculine steps in.
I mean, the competitiveness is usually something that it goes dormant and then all of a sudden it just like
Rears its ugly head.
Yeah.
Where were we when you took off sprinting that one time? Because we wanted.
I don't remember. Oh, we were in New
Were
York.
we talking about a foot race or something? So,
Yeah.
and then she just takes off running, and it was
I
hilarious.
showed everybody how fast I am.
Yes, you had to show them.
Back in the day when we would get hammered, wasted, drunk, there was like this courtyard area by the Blue Moose, and we would race each other. Like we would, people would be like, Gretchen, come and race so and so, and I'd be like, okay, I will.
Yeah.
And I would race them. My biggest claim to fame was we were at my friend's house, and we were gonna get ready to go to Old Town at the bar, or Blue Moose or something like that, and there was a bike. And I
Oh,
looked at my
yeah.
friends and I'm like, I bet I can beat you to the Blue Moose on that bike,
On a
and you guys
bicycle.
are driving your car.
Yeah.
So to add to it, I must have had a freaking sweatshirt on. I had to have had a sweatshirt because I don't know how I would have carried
Is this
them
with the
without it.
oranges?
Yes.
Yes.
So I put a whole bunch of oranges in my shirt, and while I'm hauling ASS on this bike, I'm throwing oranges at my friend's car the, the whole time. And I get to, there may have been other substances involved in this, and we
Oh,
don't really,
God.
we're trying to keep this a little bit clean.
Mm-hmm.
So I get to, oh, it was the Blue Moose. And my beautiful friend Abra, she looked at me and she's like, you need to go sit down. I'm like, why? Why do I need to sit down? I don't need to
Did
sit
you
down.
see that, bro?
Oh my God, I just, oh my God, I just beat these guys. And then she's like, Gretchen, you need to go sit down. And I was like, oh, she just used my full name, man. And so I sat down and I relaxed, and it turned out fine. But it was, and then there was a grapefruit dodgeball.
Yeah,
Did I tell you about that one?
I think so.
Oh, geez.
Yep.
The boys would always
Is it you
play.
got hit in the face?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And so the boys would, I heard this like fantastic game that some of my guy friends were playing, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna do another round of grapefruit dodgeball.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I want to play. And my buddy Corey was like, no, you do not get to play. And so I'm like, screw you guys, like, let me play.
Yeah.
And so I'm playing, and probably however long into the game, I get nailed in the face, in the jaw,
Right in that jaw.
with a large grapefruit.
Yeah.
And my buddy, and it was, I think Corey did it too. And like, he comes running up to me. He's like, oh my God, are you okay? Are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine. I'm fine. And like,
my jaw's just okay, but I'm like totally
I can't move my jaw.
Should have walked it off.
But I have a grapefruit in my hand. So I like throw another grapefruit, and I'm like, I think, and then the game was over because Corey's like, I'm not playing with you anymore. Like, I can't,
It's like, I don't like this.
I don't like to nail you with grapefruits, Gretchen. So that was another real doozy where I'm like, maybe you should take a step back, Gret.
Or just dial it down.
Take a couple breaths.
Couple clicks.
Yeah. But they let me play grapefruit dodgeball.
Oh,
I would also like hop out of trees. I would stay in trees for, I'm not kidding. One time I stayed in a tree for an hour waiting to jump out of it to scare one of my friends.
It was super important at that point in time.
Yeah. And the whole time he knew I was up there. He was just messing with
Is this
me.
when you fell? Or
No, Steve fell out of the tree.
trying to climb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I beat him at that too.
Yep.
Anyways, okay. Nut job of the week. Switching gears from grind my gears too.
Can we talk about the sexiest man alive?
Yeah, let's switch. Yeah. No nut job.
No, not job.
Sexy.
So
job.
People magazine just announced the sexiest man alive. I can't remember his name. Jim from The Office.
Mm-hmm. I'll go
Tom. John Krasinski.
There we go.
John
Oh,
Krasinski.
it's right here.
Yeah, I sent you the link.
Oh.
So John Krasinski is People's 2024 sexiest man alive.
And I quote, he says, I think it's going to make me do more household chores, he jokes.
They cringe. But I'm just kind of like,
right?
For me, like, it's Glenn Powell. Like, it's Glenn Powell. And so looking into this more, they asked him, and he was like, 100% no.
Oh,
they asked him, and he was
funny.
like, yeah, not interested in that.
Really?
Yes.
I know you've told me. Who is Glenn Powell?
He's in Top Gun Maverick. He's in Twisters. He's
yes,
cowboy, good old boy.
Yes.
Funny little jokester with that charming smile.
Yes.
That guy.
Oh, he's cute.
Yeah.
He's got two squinty of eyes for me, but yes, he is cute.
Well, and just like beside the point, like he's super popular right now. Like he's really popped off this year.
Mm-hmm.
He's not young because
Mm-hmm.
they like to choose somebody that's normally like older a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of funny because then like if you're John Krasinski, you're like, okay, am I the consolation prize? I don't
Maybe.
know. I just didn't realize like what is he even doing now? Like what is he even
He's in
filming?
John Ryan.
John Ryan.
Is that or
Yeah,
Ryan
yeah,
John?
yeah. John Ryan, the two-man name show.
Yeah, of like this the sly fox or the stealthy human.
Is he cute in that? Is he like ripped or what? Because I just keep thinking back to like Jim from The Office, and I'm like, not for me.
I think people love him in John Ryan. I think he's quite the human.
He was like probably my least favorite character on The Office.
Really?
Yes.
Who is your favorite?
Oh, probably a tie between Angela and Dwight. I mean,
Yeah.
they're,
I guess who do you think I like?
oh, this is hard. David.
Mm-mm.
Who?
The one that would sit in the back and he always had a pat. Oh my God, Clyde or Clive or Cleveland or it's not Cleveland. It's the one that was the slaughtering this
I
actors.
thought, okay, here's my thing about his name was Tim or Jim.
Hmm.
Tim was the British office that was better, but Jim was like this kind of underachiever who always had something to say and to
Hmm.
criticize.
Oh,
And
I
it's
get
like,
that.
can you just shut up maybe and like do your job?
Yeah,
You
but
sitting there, oh, they're all such idiots. Well, Dwight's killing it. So
number one
the
sales.
numbers don't lie.
Yeah, but he was so funny. He was really, really funny.
He
All
was
the jokes he
funny,
would play.
I guess. But yeah, it was for me, it was Dwight and Angela. I love Angela.
Yeah, I do love her. I loved Creed.
Oh God, Creed is so funny.
He's so funny.
He was always like stealing shit all the time.
Oh my. And he would always be like, you could tell he always had a past and it was like super checkered and he was always like looking out his
Sketch,
one eye for the
shifty.
shifty. Yes.
And then that one girl who always talked about her van, the alcoholic,
Oh,
the drug
Miranda or
Mar
I'm looking her
Mariah,
up.
Misty.
What?
Oh, I really liked Mindy Kaling too. She was funny.
She's super, super funny. That relationship was super funny.
Yeah. Anyways, so he's married to the beautiful Emily Blunt, who I love. I stand for her ever since
Meredith.
that's right. Ever since Devil Wears Prada, she had me. She was so funny in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Um started ripping into Anne Hathaway, who I just do not like.
Yeah,
I'd
she's a
watch it
dumb
all
one.
day long.
Yeah. I don't
You
even
have
think
some
I've seen
hideous scat convention to go to.
I've never
Yes.
I don't even think I've seen that full movie.
What?
Yeah. Who in the fashiony world excuse me, good grief. In the fashiony world is like doing it for you right now. Like
Well,
who are you
hey,
loving?
like, have you seen her lately?
Kate Moss?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, of course you have. Like, you know, Saint
is
Kate
cute.
behind us, but like she's in so many campaigns and ads right now. She's looking fabulous.
Yeah. Her daughter is
Her
fabulous.
daughter is fantastic.
Yeah.
I am loving Kate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I
you
think
go
I'm
while I
gonna
think
meet her
somebody.
one of these days. I'm like
What would you
manifest.
do if we met her?
I'd be real cool. I would be I would take a breath and not fangirl,
Oh, yeah.
but just tell her I love her. And then the thing I loved about her was she was so free and she just did it how she wanted to do it and all of the
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Um, and that she was more than just a model. I feel like I'm
She
getting
was.
sappy.
She gave hope to the small girls out there because
Yeah.
she was an anomaly. Like
Mhm.
Kate's 5'6",
Yeah.
and she can rock the runway like
Oh yeah.
nobody else. Like I have notes on the Victoria's Secret fashion show this year. There were some highs and some lows for me,
Mm-hmm.
but Kate out there,
I know.
I was just like, amazing. You are incredible.
Yeah. Proud peacock.
Love her.
My peacock feathers come out for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like her.
You know who's been doing it for me, which is surprising because her fashion and her style is very buttoned up-ish.
Ooh.
Morgan Murphy or Morgan McGraw.
I don't know who that is.
So Rich Kids of Beverly Hills, you know who she is.
You know, I don't do reality TV either. I've never watched a single season of Real Housewives.
Oh my gosh, so my guilty pleasure. Morgan McGraw.
I realize this makes me a freak of nature.
So Morgan is, I could have just opened my Instagram. She's married to the McGraw singer human.
Tim McGraw?
No, that's fake though.
Oh,
But okay, what I love about Morgan McGraw, Morgan Stewart is her maiden name. She was
Okay.
on Rich Kids Beverly Hills. So she's like buttoned up, yes, but she has a foul mouth. And she says exactly what she wants to say and she doesn't filter it. And she's so like authentically herself, which I
envy that because every day when we record, I go home, I'm like, oh my God, I've said such hideous things.
know you do. And I
I
want you to
should
get
censor
over that.
myself.
You don't need to censor yourself. Once again, insert Gretchen Seek into the mix. You say funny things.
Oh, I hope so.
I'll just every time. So we laugh a lot about like with G Soul. Missy has been somebody that when I'm like, what is it all for? Why am I doing this? Blah. And so it gives us like sadness and joy vibes off of the feelings show. What's the feelings show?
The feeling show.
With the emotions.
Oh, Inside Out?
Inside Out.
Yeah.
So there's days where I am fully sadness and Missy just pulls me by my feet and just is like, come on, Gret, you know why you're doing it. Come on, come on. I'm talking hillbilly-ish, and that's not how Missy talks, but
Come on.
but it's that kind of I've lost all train of thought. I don't know where I was going.
That I like help you.
Oh, so when you, after we record our podcast,
Oh,
when you
yeah, yeah.
start to
Yep.
spiral,
Yeah.
that's where I can come in and say, come on, miss, you know you're funny, you know you bring a lot to the table.
It's just scary
Yeah, it
to
is.
put it out there because I talk like this to like my friends and my family, but it's one thing to talk like this out there to whoever.
Right.
And I don't want to upset people. Like I don't want, especially the one that gets me a lot is my hot or not so hot take on religion. I have a lot of religious friends and I don't want them to think that I think that they're stupid or that like they believe wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think that at all. Like I think like, you know, and I'm sure I'm missing a ton of information about it. And there's a whole spiel somebody could give me about my Zimbabwe child argument and all that. And it's like, guys, this is just stuff that floats into my head. This is like stream of consciousness. I never want to make anybody feel bad. And I never want to, you know, make my friends feel bad because I disagree with them or whatever like that. It's just take it for like nothing. Like who cares?
Right.
Like laugh or don't or listen or don't. Like this is all I know how to be.
But it's twofold too, because for one, the people that love you know you and know that it's not a malicious thing. The other part to it is if they came up to you and said, hey, here's my hot take, you would sit there and listen to it.
Yeah.
And you may not agree with it and you may dismiss it just like they could dismiss what you said, but you would be, here's where we circle back, and I didn't even do it on purpose, back to vulnerability. Like you can be humble enough to actually listen to, this is why Zimbabwe, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And once again, afterwards, after you've heard it and you've contemplated it, then you get to release it or you get to move on with it as well. But I think after you go through the big alcoholism stuff, like you just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Anymore. You don't. Like it's so much easier, but I get how it wouldn't be easy for you in that regard.
Yeah, it's not, but you know, I don't know, like I'm gonna be 40 soon. If I'm not comfortable being myself now,
Right.
what the hell?
I know.
So I just feel like, what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
Just throw it out there.
Yeah. And we get to fall back on our truths that, I mean, what are your truths? Let's bang, give me like 3 of your truths. What are your truths that you know to your core to be true about you? If you need me to go first, I can do that.
You go first.
I operate with pure, kind, loving intentions. I don't have a malicious bone in my body.
That's
If
true.
anything is taken maliciously, it was not my intention and I didn't mean to do it. So I get to fall back on those truths and be like, dang, I apologize when it's necessary or when I feel it's necessary,
Mhm.
and then let it go. And I know that they get to work through whatever they need to.
Mhm.
I'm not that powerful. I'm not God. So I'm not going to create chaos in them. That's my responsibility to fix in them. That's
Right.
on them.
Right.
It's my responsibility to fix my shit. It's my responsibility to take ownership and create my own happiness and not let other people's chaos infiltrate into my body.
Yeah.
So it's why would it be any different? First.
Yeah.
I'm very passionate about this stuff.
I don't know.
Let's report back. That's your homework.
Okay. I can think of one.
Okay.
I can think of one.
Okay.
I only want the best for the people that I love. And everything I do is to support them and help them achieve their goals and become the best version of themselves that they can.
Boom. Mic mother freaking drop. So if anything circles back to you, you get to fall back on that truth. Period.
That's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
That's powerful. My other truth, I love the X-Files.
You
Just
do love
kidding.
the X-Files. I love that you love the X-Files. You're actually inspiring me to be open to watching the X-Files. But it can't fall on any days that there's sports
Right.
or if I have any alone time at home with the TV, I'm watching Real Housewives again.
Yeah. Where
Happy
are the balloons?
birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. If anybody's ever recorded on Zoom, that's how we do our podcast. And all of these weird things will just float up onto the screen. Like
There was just a bouquet of balloons that just floated by for no reason.
no reason.
Inexplicable.
And then if you want them to happen,
they
they
don't
won't.
do it. They don't do it.
They won't.
Nope.
There was this was a funny thing too that happened yesterday as far as like woohooey stuff because we go from X-Files, it's kind of woohooey.
Oh yeah,
right?
this was weird. If I know what you're talking about.
Mhm. And then we just had the balloons go up. So yesterday we were at a pop-up for our friend Katie.
Shout
with
out to
Garb.
Katie.
Yeah, I'm wearing Garb right now.
Yeah.
Shout out to Katie. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
My headphones changed a little bit. So we were taking a selfie and it was me, Miss, and Katie in the thing. And so Katie's holding the phone and all of a sudden just this green orb. And it wasn't like the light was creating this stuff on dust particles or anything like that. It was like a neon, similar to this color that's
Yes.
behind us,
Yep.
this neon green, came up into it, paused for a second, and then left.
like slowly retreated.
Yeah. And
It was
all three
so
of us saw
weird.
it. It was such a
We were both like, "Ah," and then we're like, "That what was that green blob that just popped its head up?" I said it looked like Slimer.
Yeah, it totally looked like Slimer. The light didn't change.
Nope.
There was, and it was like
No glare. It just
a circle in and then out. It was so cool.
It was really weird.
Oh, I love that stuff. I'm like, what angel was it? Who was coming to talk to us? What does it mean?
Like, you might need to take this to the Verizon store, get it checked out. It looks like it's malfunctioning in some way.
Oh, and my logical brain, like, I don't even want to entertain it even being anything but an angel. Anything but celestial, spiritual goodness.
I love that.
Yeah, me too.
Well,
All right, what else we got today? Are we good?
we could save our sound off on the nut job for the week for another episode.
Yeah,
There
great.
might be more than one every week. It might not be every week. We call it nut job of the week, but it doesn't necessarily have to be restricted by those boundaries. So
Yeah.
sometimes we're gonna have a nut job, sometimes we're not, and that's it.
Sometimes we'll have a sexy job.
Like,
Like, who are we finding sexy? Maybe
sometimes we'll have a sexy job and a sexy party.
or maybe we just know when it's time to shut up and sound off.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff I want to do right now,
Okay.
and I'm squirreling.
Yeah, I get it. All right. Love you guys. See you next time.
Bye bye. Oh, my neck cracked. Did you hear that?
That was a good pop. Like popping both ways.
Like popping and locking.
Yeah.